WooCommerce Blueprints is something that was launched with WooCommerce 9.9. This is not a new name because WordPress uses the keyword blueprints for its WordPress playground instances. Now, you might think they're separate things. They're actually the same thing because a blueprint is basically a list of instructions put inside a JSON file, and basically the WooCommerce blueprints use the same system as the WordPress blueprints. Now, what are WooCommerce blueprints? Basically, they will help you import and export store settings, plugins, themes, just with basically a couple of clicks from one website to the other. You can save time, you can ensure consistency, and you can test new features or configurations quite easily, like if you were a staging site. So as I said, a blueprint is basically just a JSON file which includes a list of your WooCommerce settings, plugins, and themes in a specific format so that it can be imported back into a new website by just clicking a button. How do you enable the blueprints feature? You just go onto WooCommerce settings, advanced, and under the features, so that would be the feature flags, you can scroll down to the blueprint option beta and tick the checkbox. At that stage, you will get a new blueprints option under advanced, and blueprint beta. Here it is. Once this checkbox is enabled, how do you export a blueprint? You just go to the blueprint beta tab, click on it. Of course, you will find some info, but what you're interested in is the export section. You can tell basically the exporter what you want to export and what you don't want to. So within the general settings, you can, for example, not import the email settings, and maybe you don't want to export the shipping settings for some reason. Then you will see the list of WordPress.org plugins that you use. You might want to export the maintenance, the PayPal payments, and Stripe gateway plugins, of course. I am not sure why WooCommerce is showing here, because of course WooCommerce needs to be active in order to import and export from one website to the other, and also your WordPress.org themes. I can actually see here also the list of non-WordPress.org themes. For some reason they shouldn't be displaying here, because at the moment this is only valid for WordPress.org repo, basically plugins and themes. So once you've basically picked all these things, you might want to go onto export. This will generate your JSON file that you want to then download, and at that stage you're able to go onto a brand new website, which could be the playground, which could be InstaWP, which could be a dev website, which could be any sort of staging website, and you're able to move on to the blueprint beta and go on to the import. And as you can see, in order to import a JSON file, your store must be under the coming soon mode, because at the moment, of course, you don't want to override all these settings and plugins and themes on a live website. So you just go onto the coming soon mode, which, by the way, is a WooCommerce setting under the site visibility. You enable coming soon, save changes, and at that stage it will unlock this area here. But I want to do it actually and demo it on a playground instance. So what I do is I just go onto playground.wordpress.net. This will generate an instance of WordPress into my browser. That's it, that's done, super fast. I can go onto the WP admin, go to plugins and add a new one. And I can upload WooCommerce from the backend. I think I can install WooCommerce zip file 9.93. There it is. Install now. It'll take me through the setup wizard once I activate the plugin, and we're just gonna go through pretty quickly. If possible. So welcome to, I want to opt out, set up my store. Already selling. Are you selling online? Yes. Which platform? I'm on eBay. Continue. What's my the WordPress site name? As Amazing Books. Industry as food and drink. Where's my store? Let's do all on islands. And that's my email address, and continue. Then it's gonna ask me for installing a few default plugins. I'm just going to uncheck them all, continue, turn on the lights, and the WooCommerce plugin is installed. And I'm also automatically under the store coming soon mode. So if I go onto settings and I go to site visibility, I should be able to see that I'm under the coming soon mode. There it is. Coming soon is enabled, which means that if I go to advanced and I go on to features, Blueprint is already enabled. So I just click on Blueprint and I can see now the import window. So I can basically drag and drop or choose a file. I'm going to get it from my downloads. I should see that my Blueprint 1 JSON file. I'm going to open it, import, and it's basically telling me what kind of things it should import. It doesn't tell me that it will also import plugins and themes, which I think is important. So I'm going to click on import, and now in a few seconds I should be getting a report of how this process went. Now I am on Playground, so because this is a browser instance, plugins and themes might not work exactly. So there you go. We're getting loads of install errors. I can download plugins, I can download PayPal payments, Gateway Stripe, and themes as well. So my blueprint has been imported. There are some errors. So if you go onto settings and for example general, you should now seeing that for example the store address has changed to my fake San Diego address, and all the settings have been there. It's in euros, and if you go to products you probably see some other settings. So at the moment for Playground it only works for the WooCommerce settings. So what can you do? For example, you could go onto your InstaWP account, you just create a new one. Next step, integration, e-commerce. I want it to be with WooCommerce, create site, and I have my site with the magic login. And now I can immediately log in to the site and do the exact same thing. Let's see if this time it installs plugins and themes as well. So this is the setup wizard, keeps loading. I'm just gonna come out of it and go back to the admin, and I want to go onto WooCommerce settings. The store is in coming soon mode. So if I go to advanced, I should be seeing the blueprint beta section. It's failed to see if imports are allowed. So I don't know why that's the case, why Insta is not working. What could we do? We could be going onto your hosting platform. So I'm going to add a site, which is a demo. I just want it to be a staging site and deploy, and this will basically set up a new site. So the job is completed, and now I'm going to the WP admin of my new test website, and of course I have to install WooCommerce in here first, so that then I can import my blueprint. So I'm in WP admin, plugins, add plugin. This time I can install it from here because it's not a Playground instance. So install now, activate it, go through the wizard. But this time I want to skip it. So skip guided setup. I am from Afghanistan, and turn on the lights, opening the doors, and I should be ready to go now. So if I go to settings now, and this is an actual website on actual hosting, I go on to advanced, and as you can see I'm in coming soon mode, which means that the blueprint is active now, and I can import my JSON file. So choose a file, look for my blueprint 1 JSON and import. It's telling me once again what is going to import, but this time we should also import plugins and themes during this process. So we'll see how long it takes. Settings should be a few seconds, and then maybe plugins and themes might slow down a little this process. Okay, there is some problem here in regard to SQL errors. Blueprint imports are disabled. This is really weird. Your blueprint has been imported, but there were some errors. Please check the messages. So I'm gonna go to general and see if I have my San Diego account. So the settings import worked. I'm going on to plugins and see if I have maintenance, PayPal payments, and Stripe. So they actually worked. They installed correctly. And if I go to appearance, themes, I should see storefront and nothing else. So the theme import didn't work. Of course, this is a new release. In a few seconds, basically, we created a copy of our existing website onto a brand new website by importing all the settings, possibly WordPress.org plugins and WordPress.org themes. And in this way, we're able to use the second website for development, for staging purposes, troubleshooting, trying new features, and cloning for a different client. Maybe, this seems like a very good idea. Also, it would be, of course, nice if you could just say import all active plugins and import all active themes, and if you could import and export non-WordPress.org plugins and themes as well. It seems there are still some errors in regard to the blueprint import, so I'm sure that they are working on this. And other than that, okay, blueprint import and export operations are logged for traceability. You can view logs under WooCommerce status logs. So if you go to your test website, which was this one, and just go to WooCommerce status and logs, you will see, yes, the WC blueprint file, and it'll tell you, step by step what it's trying to do and whether it's completed. And yes, you can see, we got errors earlier on. We can see the additional context. Right, so was the tax payable to country in insert into failure? I don't know if that's because of a legacy tax setting or an unknown error. I'm sure WooCommerce will go and fix this. Yes, there is another tax payable to country error, and then all the other steps have been completed. So as you see, the side options are done at the end, while before then it tries to install plugins and themes, and then eventually got these SQL errors. But other than that, it's nice to see that we have this new blueprint functionality. Of course, it's good if you go and test this thoroughly. And of course, if you take a look at the email that WooCommerce sent the other day, so they're looking for feedback. Of course, we're still at the very first release, so this is just going to improve over and over again. Just follow the instructions that you got in the email if you need to send your feedback. And other than that, looking forward to see where this goes.